Man, where to start with this episode?
I want the ability to have sex.
As much as I really want to start there and unpack that, because, good friends. Yeah, real historian of you there, Goose. Spoilers ahead, by the way, because I will start with this.
God, you look stupid.
This man, that's the face of someone who knew what was going on. He knew and was ready for it. Jax is almost extracted before, and we finally know why. And well, the why the way he is. We will also be diving into the timeline of the digital circus, thanks to Kinger, and that fact that there is no more a shadow of a doubt that he is either a creator or an admin of the circus. Other things like Cain might be the Cain to Kinger's Abel, Jax got his tail back, and the fact that Zubul can just go General Grievous whenever they want, so strap in. Jax, and let me preface, I have to applaud Gooseworks. When TADC first came out, I wasn't really on board. Not for any, real reasons. I never liked the circus vibes, and the bright colors overstimulated my brain. But I quickly got on board starting with episode 3, because I saw that Pomni wasn't going to have main character syndrome, or be a super repetitive character. But that's the key word, isn't it? Character. Because with this episode, I think I can officially solidify that Goose hasn't really made characters. These are people. Ragatha, Kinger, Pomni, Zubul, Gangle, and especially Jax are diverse, distinct, and extremely fleshed out. They feel human, which not only seems prevalent to the story at hand, but also shows just how good a writer Goose actually is. Jax has quickly risen up my ladder of favored characters now. His self-destructive behavior is so believable, and I almost hate to admit that at the end of the shootout, it felt really familiar, because I used to do the same exact self-destructive tendencies. Jax likes Pomni, and he hates that, because he can't stand to have relations with people. Because the more he humanizes all the people here, the harder it is for him to hold on. He has diluted himself into believing that this is all some cartoon fantasy they're never waking up from, because so long as it's fake, he doesn't have to face the reality that he's basically trapped in a hellish place where he is actively hurting the people he cares about. And that's why, despite it all, he refused to fight back. Because he cares. He purposely destroyed his relationship with Ragatha, and he's trying to do that again now with Pomni, now that she's becoming his actual friend. He needed a reason to dehumanize her. He needed her to pull the trigger and, quote, betray him. Then he could just justify that she doesn't actually like him, and doesn't care about him, and isn't a deep and involved and fleshed out human being in his life that wants to look out for him for the sake of his own sanity. He saw Ribbit again in that ceremony, and it nearly drove him over the edge. This is ultimately going to be his undoing, as he's holding back his humanity and bottling up all the pieces that can free him from the pain. While someone like Kinger follows Jax's principles in a more healthy way, again, Kinger's insanity is surprisingly sane.
Oh, I've got just the thing. Here, take this.
Well, wait. What did you just do? What was that?
It's a butterfly. It can restore your health.
Did Cain mention that?
Oh, nah. I made it up.
There is an argument to be said that all the members of the digital circus can do what Kinger did. After all, we see Pomni shoot a gun like no one who's shooting a gun for the first time should be able to do. So while there is a possibility, I think it's the fact that he knows it and doesn't share it kind of adds to the fact that, yeah, he had some deeper meaning into this circus. Kinger is insane, but he's not afraid to feel. He's embraced the game without sacrificing his humanity in the process. But Kinger obviously has a grasp on his personhood much better than Jax, who's trying to detract from it because, well, Kinger's at the very least an admin and has a firmer understanding of what the circus is and what's going on. But at the end of this, if Jax doesn't open up and let his person back out, he's gonna be consumed in the cartoon, because Pomni did the actual best thing she could have done in that situation. challenge his idea. Her refusal to pull the trigger, even when antagonized to the point where you can see her considering pulling it, just light up in her eyes, did the one thing Jax wasn't ready for: real human connection. That's why he doesn't attend the funerals. That's why he pushed Ragatha away. He was lucky she actually has a people-pleaser complex, or else he'd be in trouble. And that's why he's gonna continue coming to blows with Pomni, not Ragatha. Zubul wants to fuck Gangle so bad.
I want the ability to have sex.
No!
Are we finally having this
My
conversation?
OTP! I legit made a post about this. If the show were to have any romance, I'd pair them. But seems like the two characters with identity crises already have deep feelings for each other. And God, do I love being right. Even Jax knows it for calling out how fandom types like their queer ships instead of their hetero ones.
Are you coming on to me? Yeah, that's what everybody wants. A straight couple.
But for real, Zubul and Gangle both struggling with self-worth. Gangle likely caused to this bipolar anxiety and autism masking, while, Zubul is obviously in the throes of a gender crisis and has bad dysphoria. But despite these flaws, they're finding comfort in each other, which is really, really sweet. Meanwhile, without them interacting, Pomni and Ragatha's relationship is on the mend. So consider me wrong in that regard. Kinger helping out Rags and Pomni getting a full taste of what Jax is really like brought them together. And that's so cute. It's lived experiences, and after growing and understanding more about themselves and the others around them, they're being drawn back to each other. On the flip side of things, Kane is lamenting his better days, with him throwing out a casual "remember this" from episode 1, but pristine. On top of knowing that the TADC is a TV show of some kind, he seems to remember a better time. And honestly, I'm excited to see where this is gonna go, because he's putting the intelligent in artificial intelligence. Because of this, and seemingly Kinger's ability to manipulate the rules of the shootout game, makes me think, and of course this is speculation, that Kinger and Kane are gonna end up the namesake of the company, Cain and Abel. I pointed this out with the last episode that Kane is very preferential towards Kinger, and with us learning from Kinger himself that he and Queenie were the first denizens, or at least at a time the only two of the digital circus, and Queenie managed to abstract before Ragatha showed up, which her appearance knocked Kinger out of his depression.
I couldn't help but hate myself for the things I thought I was responsible for. I thought I'd lost everything. But then you showed up.
Meaning that for a while, Kinger and Kane could have gotten up to anything before Ragatha appeared. But hey, at least we now know for sure it was Queenie and Kinger, then Ragatha, and Pomni being the latest addition. The show is really winding up to be an extremely vivid dissection of the human condition, which is absolutely not what I was expecting going in. While this episode was much more my speed, with the long breaks to flesh out the characters and give in-depth to their being, I can understand if this episode is less popular than 5. With 5, just as you got settled into the slow, meticulous development, the next zany scene would happen. While here in 6, the characters are able to talk and flesh themselves out for a lot longer. But I think they compensate this by going just absolutely nuts. Kinger pulling out the Agent 47. Gangle went full Tony Montana on them.
Say hello to my little friend!
And Zubul even showed Kenobi that it do go down.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
What I wish we found out was Rax and Gangle got some nasty KOs, and they looked dead. She was still smiling. I wonder, since they can't feel pain or actually die, what was that like? My God, it was graphic. Once again, I have to applaud where the show is going, and it's absolutely worthy of its praise. Goose, you're making history. Keep it up. We're all watching with our hands raised. So, why did Pomni decide to do a Sinessa on Jax for the plushie? Does anyone else find this, hella skin suit?